All right, what's up, Marcus? Hey, as I take your role, we're going to do a bell ringer right now. And so what I want you to do is on that sticky note that's right here on your desk, I want you to write down, if you were to start an online business today where you could reach customers globally, what's one thing that would scare you the most about the internet for your store? All right, so go ahead. Do you need a pencil?
Yeah, I do. I had one, I guess.
Here you go. It's all right, I forgive you. All right,
Thank you.
and we'll pick up after I'm done taking roll real quick. All right, so, okay, I was gonna ask if you knew. So what's one thing, if you were to start an online shoe store, what's one thing that you would be nervous about doing online shopping for your store? Not online shopping for your store, but online, having an online presence for your store. What's one thing that you'd be scared of?
Just one thing? Or could we name off a couple?
You could do a couple if you want, that's fine. I hope everybody's doing okay today. Himalaya. Excuse me. All right. So what did you have?
I'm still writing down my second one. But so my first one is like somebody could potentially like hack into the online store and they'd have all of my customers' info.
Yeah.
And then my second one is like maybe some employees that are like around the globe might not be as loyal to the company like as some of the local ones.
Okay, so you're saying if you were to do an online store and it not just be a local online store, but whenever it's global, your employees wouldn't have as much commitment or dedication. I'm assuming because they're not bought into the community where it's from, with something like that. Dude, I think those are totally valid. All right, so today we are going to be tackling performance indicator 8.2, right, which is how e-commerce isn't just a website. So when I say e-commerce, what does that mean? We've talked about this a little bit. So
Buying and selling online.
yeah, so internet commerce, all right? So buying and selling online. So it would be you having a business online, right? So it's not just a website, it's a global business model and it's powered by the cloud. Now, when we say the cloud, what are we talking about?
Just the whole internet.
Yeah, the memory that you can have on the internet, right? So it's not necessarily a physical cloud, right? But it is definitely something where all the information can be stored, okay? All right, so by the end of this period, you will have an understanding of not only the security and integration plans, but this is going to be a way for you to combine what we learn now with your Shark Tank challenge that we're doing, the entrepreneur challenge that we're doing. So go ahead and turn on your computer, and as that's getting all set up, we're going to be watching a movie or a video on the screen for a second. All right?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Modern global integrated supply chains couldn't be global or integrated without a modern technological infrastructure to act as both the supply chain's connective tissue and nervous system. And while modern supply chain executives are expected to have a grasp of modern business technology, the thought of actually making technology-related decisions can be scary for even the most senior executives. So, what should supply chain managers expect their systems, software, and hardware to do for their supply chain? Let's try and relate it to something you may have done before, buying a computer. Beyond entertainment, What are the reasons people buy computers? To communicate with people, purchase things, meet new people, search for information, analyze data, and to organize their lives. Computers have become the tools we use in the present to connect us to things in our past and to help guide us to a more promising future. Supply chains need to accomplish the same things, except we refer to them as research and analysis, planning and scheduling, purchasing, networking, and relationship management. So, similar to the decision-making process we would all go through when buying a new laptop computer, companies need to consider a number of issues when making IT decisions. Memory, storage, computing speed, applications, hardware, mobility, and the operating system. These are the key components of the organization's central nervous system. We want a fast, powerful system that will help us connect with our most trusted allies and customers, protect us from potential enemies, and it must also be built for flexibility, ready for whatever our business may need in the years to come. Presently, companies achieve these capabilities from an alphabet soup list of systems and applications that include ERP, CRM, SRM. And while these things may change over time, one thing that will not change is the supply chain's dependence on technology. Managing resources, operations, logistics, and customers requires immediate access to data and information that only technology can provide. Supply chains need to meet the challenges of the present and future. Sustainability, consumer safety, supply chain security, and legal and ethical behaviors. These are all expected, and in some cases demanded by consumers and governments worldwide. These are things that can only be effectively managed, monitored, and realized with the support of modern technology. Even at the lowest level, individual supply chain managers are tasked with measuring performance, improving supply chain visibility, and managing relationships, all of which are very much dependent on available technologies. Supply chain managers don't necessarily need to be computer geeks, but they do need to develop an excellent working relationship with the folks in IT, because a supply chain without a healthy nervous system can't be integrated, global, or even responsive. Make sure your supply chain has the tools that will give it the lightning fast reflexes required to be a world-class global competitor.
All right, so that video was talking about a supply chain, but particularly the supply chain. What was the role of that supply chain?
Like the role, like for the company.
Yeah. So how did that supply chain function well? Are you logged into your?
Not yet.
All right, go ahead and log into your Google Classroom while we're talking real quick.
So what's the question?
So go ahead and log in and we can.
Log in Google Classroom.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm there.
All right, so there should be an assignment that I had assigned from earlier this week. There's a worksheet.
Yep.
See that? Go ahead and click on that, open it up. We're going to work through it here in a second. All right, so you're on it now. I'm not taking it out. You got clipped. All right. So the video was talking about supply chain. All right, now when we talk about supply chain, this is something we covered last semester. You weren't here. But basically it is what the steps that need to take place in order for you to have your product and be able to sell it to the customers. All right, so your supply chain. It was referring to supply chain here with e-commerce because without online presence or the cloud, you're going to have a hard time being able to run your supply chain, right? You can't just do it with paper. You need to be able to do it on a regular basis through the internet and through the cloud, right? So with that, there was a moment on the video that said that there was real-time visibility for your supply chain. What do you think real-time visibility means?
Like somebody ordered something online, they can see like where it's at. Or
Okay, some ways, right? So you could say that real-time visibility has to do with shipping, right? So you get a shipping code and you can see what's going on. Think of that from the business perspective, though. So that would be from the customer perspective. From the business
you
perspective,
know what's going on with your business, like as it happens.
yeah. So give me an example. What do you mean by that?
Like if it was online, like every time like your customer bought something, like you got a notification or something.
Okay, that works. That checks. Let's say that you're wanting to open up a boot store, right? A Western boot store.
Yeah, like Western workwear.
Right. And with that, you're wanting to make it to where you're doing custom things in-house with local supplies, right? So you're wanting to make custom boots. And so for you, for your real-time visibility, what you could do is you could have a merchandise drop, right? What I mean by that is you could say, hey, we're dropping, we're gonna reveal new boots every month. And it's first come, first serve. We're only going to make 10 pairs of these boots, whatever the case be. And whenever you do your merchandise drop, you'll be able to see right away, this is how many people are interested in these boots and these boots are selling. You're getting that real-time feedback. And if you see, we sold out of all 10 of these boots in 30 minutes, then you know that people really like that. But then if you go the next month and you do a boot drop and nobody buys it, what's that tell you? Real time.
You shouldn't be making those boots.
Because people don't like them, right? So it's real-time results right away, okay? All right, now with that, what I want to do is talk about how online e-commerce and security is supposed to be something that is done safely. It's supposed to be something that you could protect your customers and all that stuff. And so typically, if you would have had Malaya here, we would have gone through something called a Socratic circle and or a fishbowl, where I would draw a question and then you would answer. But since Emily is not here, you and I are just going to talk through these questions. Is that cool? All right. And here, what I want to do is give you freedom to talk through what questions you think interest you. So if we go down the discussion, you're like, this is really cool, we can keep talking about that as long as it's about e-commerce. Sound cool?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. All right. So in the video, it said that the IT, the technology, was almost like the nervous system of the businesses. Without technology, it'd be impossible to run a business. All right. If you had to choose which is more dangerous for your company, that we're in this scenario is a global company, which is more dangerous? A physical ship sinking in the ocean with all the products, right? Or your cloud server going down for 24 hours. Why? Which is more dangerous and why?
They're both dangerous, but I think maybe your cloud server, because like, yeah, because if the cloud server goes down, then you could potentially lose like access to all of your customers, like everything.
Everything. All right. So not just customers, your suppliers, everything.
Supplies, like you can remake supplies.
Well, I'm talking about your suppliers. Yeah, you're right. So if the ship go down, then maybe you're out of business for a week or two as you're trying to restock. But if you're doing your business correct, you're not going to push it to where you're running out all the time, right? You're going to have some kind of a backup. But if your online information goes down or it's hacked and it's vulnerable, right? You could lose a lot of people's information. Yeah, and it could also make it to where you're struggling to keep your customers' information private. Does that make sense? And so all the customers that buy online, they're gonna have an email coming for you saying, hey, we had a breach, your information was in it, you should be aware, right? And we don't want those liabilities, right? I agree with you. I think that having a shipwreck with all your supplies isn't as dangerous as having your cloud crash on you. All right, so here's the next question. All right, how does cloud-based real-time visibility change the way a small business in Arkansas competes with massive corporations like Amazon?
How does real-time visibility
Mm-hmm.
change?
How can it compete? Let me read it again. How does cloud-based real-time visibility, so what we talked about earlier, being able to see what the customer wants, knowing where supplies are, all that stuff, change the way a small business in Arkansas competes with massive corporations like Amazon? So basically, how does the data in the cloud and being able to see what's happening in real time make it to where you can compete with a store that makes billions and billions a year like Amazon? So how does that help you?
Because you're obviously not gonna be making as much as they are, but
Right?
it's still in the same class because it's still online. You still access it the same way, and it's used in like the same way.
Yeah, but so how are you going to compete with it?
You gotta make yours stand out
Okay.
from the bigger one.
So you're saying just marketing in general?
And yeah, that's the main one.
Yeah. All right. So let's think about it in reference to um, like location. Okay, you have a niche, right? You have a group of people. Your market is local, and so your people are going to want things that are specific to them, especially when it comes to boots. All right. So you're able to use that and know exactly what the customer wants. Whereas Amazon, they're trying to target the whole region. They're not having it be a small area. They're thinking of bigger picture, right? So you having real-time data and knowing what the customer wants versus what Amazon gets, which is like massive worldwide searches, basically, it makes it to where it's more personal for your company, right? And so the customers are going to want that. Also, most of the time, customers want support local small businesses, right? And so you could use that to your advantage. You could advertise it. You're talking about marketing. You could advertise it to where it says small, locally owned business, so on and so forth. Does that make sense? So that was correct. Good job. All right. So the impact of the digital models on the global economy, which is what we're talking about for our standard today. Does the speed of the cloud make the world feel smaller or larger for business owners?
Smaller because it's easier to access,
Yeah.
more accessible.
So communication, I can message somebody right now in China and say, hey, could you go ahead and get this going for me on your shipment?
They're gonna get it within seconds.
Yeah, they're going to get it and they'll be able to get it going and have it shipped potentially. I just ordered something today for some of our t-shirts for our second period class. And I ordered it. It'll be here tomorrow. And it's coming from New York City, right? That's impressive, right? So it does have a massive impact on making the world feel smaller just because of communication, all right? If a business uses the cloud to reach customers in other countries, should they be forced to follow the security laws of Arkansas or the laws of the country where they live? So this gets into the legality of being able to shop in certain places. So if the business laws in Arkansas are different than the business laws in, let's say, India, right? Should the person who is buying the stuff in India have to follow or be held to the laws that are found in Arkansas?
I think, I think the laws that are in Arkansas should apply, because if it's a local business, and India, their laws says that you can do something, but our law says that we can't do it, and we can't do it. But help with that.
Yeah, so the reason I picked India is because they have way different laws than we do, right?
You know that.
And so the reason we need to think through these things is you're thinking of the global impact of what your business could have. There are going to be certain things that you can do in America that you can't do in other countries, right? And so as you are doing these marketing research and you're trying to expand your global impact, you have to think through this in such a way that you're meeting the needs of the people that you're trying to reach, right? This is your whole market research that we talked about earlier this semester with your Shark Tank presentation. All right. We're almost done with these questions, and then we're going to move on to the worksheet that you have that we're going to fill out. All right. So this is getting down to the digital security portion of this. Okay. If a cloud provider like Google or AWS gets hacked, but the business owner didn't set up the multi-factor authentication, who is 100% responsible for the lost data. So if there is a Google hack, but the business owner doesn't set up the authentication, whose fault is it then that the business owner's information got hacked?
It is the business owner.
Yeah, right. They're liable for that because they didn't do what it needed to do to protect the customers, right? So there's really no ifs, ands, or buts around that. Okay. Why is that dangerous for a small company like yours? Why would that be dangerous?
But why is it dangerous to like not
Right.
security?
Yeah.
Because if your small business is insecure, and it'd be way easier to like get into than like a larger one.
But what happens when they get into it?
Everything.
Yeah. So if your customer's information, credit card information, is in the cloud,
You lose all your customers.
but also who's liable for that? When I say liable, what does that mean?
Like who has to take the blame for it?
Right. And so usually blame means what?
Money.
Who has to pay for this mistake? Right.
Who
And so
business.
if somebody sues you because you allowed your information to leak out and you didn't take the right steps, can you afford that? No, most likely not. And you're going to go down in a hurry when it comes to having your business. Okay. Is digital security just a one-time setup? What do you think?
But could you rephrase the question?
Yeah. So we just talked about having a scenario where somebody breached your digital information, right? That's what we were just talking about. So is whenever you set up your security system for your online cloud, your online e-commerce, right? What takes place? Sorry, let me rephrase that. When you're setting it up, is it just a one-time setup or is it something that you have to continually do?
Like to set up the like online security?
Yeah.
I think it should be like updated like every now and then.
Okay.
Ensure privacy.
Why? Why do you think it should have that? You said to ensure privacy, but also let's think a little bit different about that.
Like technology improves.
Yes.
For your stuff.
Yeah, good job. So exactly, it evolves. Technology evolves. It's getting faster and faster and faster every single day. And so if your security system is from last year, then most likely technology's past it and somebody can get through that firewall, right? Sweet. After hearing about all of these things, do you think that your business concept can be a global concept without relying on a cloud-based data? No, not at all.
Not at all.
Why?
Because if you're not on the clouds, then you're nothing compared to like anywhere that's not locally where you're at.
That is correct. All right. If you're not on the cloud, you're not going to be able to keep up with all the information. Okay. It's not only that you're not local, but it's also like it's moving too fast. You're not going to have a global stance, right? That would be like saying we're going to start using ships to communicate to England as we take the messages across the pond, right? That doesn't make sense, right? We're past that. All right. And if you want to make a global impact, you're going to have quick communication and a quick supply chain. You're going to have all those things that are on the cloud. So you cannot operate your business online without having a good e-commerce plan. All right. So now that's what we're going to do. In your Google Classroom, there is a document, and it's the e-commerce strategy plan. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the things we just talked about, and you're going to apply it to your business model, okay? Now, before we do that, let me clarify a few things. The first thing is you have to decide what type of e-commerce model you are going to have, all right? There's two different types. The first is seen as B, the number 2, and then B. What do you think that stands for? B2B. B2B.
Back to back.
Close, but no cigar. It's business to business. So is your online store focusing on selling your products to other businesses that could sell it to other customers, right? So boot stores could do this, right? You have Justin Boots, right? And their main website has a place where you can sell their boots, and you ask for an opportunity to do that, and you can begin to do that. So that's something you should consider. Is that something you're going to do both and? Right? The other option is B2C. What do you think that stands for? If B is business, what do you think?
Business to customer.
Business to customer. All right, exactly. So is your online store, is your online e-commerce going to look something that is specific for a customer? Okay. All right. So that's the first thing, is your model. The second thing is the cloud benefit. Based on the video, how will real-time visibility help your specific business? I gave you a scenario earlier where you did a product drop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then number 3, what is the security shield that you're going to take to protect it? So you need to list 2 ways that you will protect your global customer data. All right. And if you don't know those things, if you don't know ways to do that, you can raise your hand and ask in a second when you get to that, or you can just Google how do you have security shield for an online store. Okay. All right. Sounds good. I'm going to give you some time to work on that. If you have any questions, just raise your hand and holler at me, okay?
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah.
GoPro, stop recording. All right. Good job today. So at the beginning of the class, for your bell ringer, you wrote down 2 things that would be scary about doing e-commerce or having an online store. And so what I want you to do now that we've gone through this lesson and you've gone through that worksheet, I want you to write down 2 things that would solve those fears. All right. So your first question, your first one, and your second one, you really can just pick one. You don't have to do 2. All right. And then this is going to go down for helping me understand if you understand what we talked about today. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. What'd you get? What'd you write down?
So for the first one being, people could hack into like all my customers' private information.
Mm-hmm.
I just wrote to like make like privacy policies and ensure the privacy of my customers.
Okay. So finding that firewall that you could use in your website, the authentication and...
Yeah, what I put on here is using multi-factor authentication and regular software updates.
Good job. Good job. All right. Good job today, Marcus. Are you excited about spring break?
Yeah.
I'm excited, dude. You got any big plans?
Not really. I'm sleeping in all week.
I'd be excited about sleep. GoPro, turn off. GoPro, stop recording.